This is a review of Soft Spikes.
So, Bee feels a little silly because she's got the soft spikes in her hair already, and they make her look a little bit like a porcupine once her whole head is done. But we love the end result, right? We get really cute. She gets really cute curls in her locks from using the soft spikes. So today we're going to tell you all about them. The soft spikes can be purchased from www.softspikecurlers.com. I think that's it. Don't worry, it'll be on the video. And on our blog too. You can read all the information that I'm going to tell you on the blog as well. So let's get started. The soft spikes come in a set of 60. There's 30 in each package, so this is one set. If you purchase for these are the small size, this would be $19 would come with these two sets of spikes. If you purchase them with this gel and end papers, it costs a little more. I'm not sure how much. So as long as I'm bringing it up, I will tell you that I didn't use the gel on Bee's locks because I'm really picky about what I put on her hair, and I don't want anything to cause buildup or get trapped in her locks. And so I might want to try using some kind of a setting foam or something sometime, because so far the curls have only lasted 1 or 2 days, the way that we've been doing them without using any setting lotion. But I'm still just wary of using anything that's not meant for locks. So I'm going to look for something that's meant for locks and try that. And then the end papers, I also don't recommend if you're using the soft spikes with locks. If you're using it on a different hair texture, then they're probably great. But for the locks, obviously it makes it take longer to put in because it adds another step, having to put the papers on to the end. You have to like wrap the paper around the end of the hair before you start wrapping it on the lock, and so that takes more time. But I think the point is that they're supposed to make it faster to take the spikes out of the hair when you're done, but it actually made it take longer for us. So they really didn't serve a purpose where the locks are concerned. So save yourself some money if you're using the soft spikes on locks, and I don't think you need to purchase these. If you're using them on other hair textures, you may want them. So, but they sell them with or without. This is the long size. I'll take them out so you can see them. This is a long, this is a small, and then they also come in a large, which I think is the same length as the small, but they're fatter, which would create bigger, looser curls. Also, the more hair you put on each spike, the looser your curls are. So anyways, the long, totally not necessary for her length of hair. So if your hair is this length, or I'd say even a good few inches longer, the short ones would be fine. You can see on these ones we've already put in how much space there still is, and these are all just with the small spikes. So the longs are not necessary. In fact, I'm kind of considering cutting them, although then maybe they won't go through the hole as nicely because they have this nice pointed end. But I still think they'd probably work fine, so I'm thinking about cutting them. But when you buy them and get them in the mail, they come on a sheet like this, so you just have to punch them right out of the big piece of foam and punch the little circle out of the middle, so no big deal. But that's how they come. So now for how many we use, the very first time we used the soft spikes on Bee, I used 72 spikes, I counted. And at that time I was putting 3 to 4 locks on each spike as I rolled them up. And I decided that, you know, the more, like I said, the more locks you put on each, the looser the curls are going to be. And since her curls weren't holding all, you know, they were only lasting for a day or two, the curls weren't holding that awesome, I kind of figured that I only wanted to use 2 locks per spike. So that means you're going to need more than 72, although the time that I did it with 2 locks per spike, I didn't actually count. So today we'll do 2 per spike, and I'll count how many I use. Then another thing is whether you want to put them on the hair wet or damp or dry. I definitely don't recommend dry. I don't think that would work very well. The first time we tried it straight out of the shower, so her hair was very, very wet. And we put them in right before bed, and she slept with them in all night long, and some of them were still quite damp in the morning. especially the ones that had 3 or 4 locks on each one, but a lot of them were still pretty damp in the morning. So I decided the next time to try just using our regular spray. This is our Talia Wajid mist that we have watered down that we use to, you know, moisturize her hair every day. So I decided to just use this so that we had damp hair instead of soaking wet hair. So all that I do is I just kind of start spraying. Here, I'll turn this way a little bit. And I want to make sure that I get the entire length of her hair damp. So, you know, and underneath and everything, but I just kind of getting it damp. Okay, so we're refilming this section on how to put the soft spike in because the first one wasn't good enough. So anyway, you take 2 locks, you get them as close to the ring as you can, and you wrap the ends around. And you're gonna have to kind of overlap to get the ends tucked in there. But then as you wrap the lock around the soft spike, you're gonna move your way down the spike like that. And then you're gonna get that pretty snug up to the scalp and stick the end in and pull it pretty tight. And you got that? And just to know which direction I was moving on her hair, I did not roll up her hair. I rolled it, I put the hair on top of the soft spike and I rolled under as I moved up towards her scalp. Stuck it in and done. And then we leave them in overnight, and I was kind of thinking that it looked pretty uncomfortable, but B said they're fine to sleep in, right?
Yeah. One way.
Oh, you have to sleep a certain way? How's that?
On the side.
On the side. So if she sleeps on the side of her head, I try to have the spikes, they end up kind of all pointing upwards, so I can see why laying on the side of her head would work better. They are fairly comfortable for sleeping in. And then in the morning when we took them out, it took 15 minutes or less to pull them all out.
Hi.
All right, we finished, as you can see. We've got the lovely porcupine look going on here, or as her brother decided to call her, she looked like a dinosaur. So anyways, it took us about like 43 minutes or so to do, so less than an hour. Maybe not a lot less, but less than an hour. And before we started, we counted her locks. How many locks do you have?
188.
So she has 188 locks total. And I didn't actually count the soft spikes as we put them in, but I put exactly 2 locks per spike, so I'm assuming that means there's like 94 spikes. So since one set of spikes is 60, we need 2 sets of spikes, which would be 120 spikes, which is plenty if we're doing 2 per lock for her. I only bought 1 set of the smalls and then a set of the longs, so the 1 set of smalls isn't enough to do her whole head. So you can, I don't know if you can see this on the camera, these ones were all the smalls, and then I did end up taking a scissors to the longer ones, and I just took them and I cut them like at an angle so that that would make it easier for them to go through. Oops. Like that. I ripped off the end of it.
Oh.
So anyway, it works just fine. So we did cut those down because she looked kind of really ridiculous with one side being this long and the other side being like this long and whatever, and it wasn't necessary. We don't need them that long anyway. So took us about 43 minutes to do. And tomorrow in the morning we will show you about taking them out and the end result.
Bye. Oh. Bye.
Okay, it is now early morning and we are trying to get ready to have the kids go off to school to take some school pictures this morning.
So a couple of words of advice we have after yesterday's experience with the soft spikes. We put them in a little earlier in the day than we normally would. We usually would do it right before bed. And I think because she ended up wearing them for so long, they did start to kind of irritate her, and they were kind of her head was starting to get itchy and stuff like that. So I really would recommend putting them in as close to right before bed as you can. And then, you know, that would probably alleviate some of that. The other problem we had is that we didn't consider what she was wearing. And when she went to get into her pajamas, we had a very, very difficult time getting her t-shirt up over her head and off of her spikes, which was tricky and a little painful for her. We tried to very easily, as gently as we could, get it off her head. So I recommend being in whatever shirt you intend to wear while the spikes are in, so you don't have to change your shirt while they're in. So those were our 2 bits of advice after what we experienced last night. But I haven't been timing this as I've been taking them out, but as you can see, I am taking them out very quickly. And I didn't mention this when I was putting them in yesterday, but I like to start from the front and work my way to the back as I put them in. And I did one half of her head at a time. So I did this half from the front back and this half from the front back. I think that's just the easiest way to do it. You don't have to do it that way, but for me it's easiest. And now for taking them out, I kind of do the opposite. I like to work from the bottom and from the sides up to the top.
Okay, now again we're refilming this part on taking them out. So her hair's not actually wet and this spike has not actually been in overnight. But you just obviously slide the end out of the loop. And then this is what I like to do to keep the curls tight. And I don't know if it'll work right now with her hair being wet, but I pinch my fingers. I go down by the loop and I pinch my fingers right underneath the where we started wrapping the hair, and I slide it out so that the hair stays, and if this was wet it would stay coiled right up like this, and you'll be able to see that in the pictures. But so I just grab them from the end. I just pinch my fingers down here at the end and I slide it out with my fingers at the bottom of the hair, and that keeps the coils in.
So we're going to finish taking these out, and then we'll take a picture of what it looks like when the curls are all tight like this. And then I might put a tiny bit of hairspray in. If I did this regularly, I probably wouldn't want to do that because I don't like using a lot of products on our hair, but since this is kind of a rare occasion for us, I might add a little hairspray to try and hold the curls a bit. Anyway, so we will take these out and spray them and show you a picture of what it looks like when the curls are very tight like this. But then she's gonna shake them out and we're gonna get some nice big looser curls, and that's how we'll style it for getting her pictures done today. So we will take pictures of that as well and show you what the finished style looks like. And I think I'm going to do a little cornrow headband across the front. In the past we've used ribbons or headbands with the curly style, and that's really cute, but I think today we're going to use her own locks to make a headband, a cornrow headband. So that is it, I believe, for this video. We'll just put some pictures on the end.